G'day folks, welcome back to Delboy's Garage. So a little update on Project Bandit. Stuck some random badges on. Harley Davidson. This one got put on upside down. Oh, I wonder what happened. Just a few badges, just a bit of fun. Stuck a little bit of grill action down the front there. Not sure about that. Looks a bit like a draining board, which is what it is. Funny that. Anyway, right. eBay has finally delivered my crash bars. Now these are brilliant. I wanted some proper big beefy crash bars. These are made by Jammer. I've seen Jammer kit before, all sorts of accessories and stuff they make, but I've never seen these. I thought I'd seen pretty much most things, but they are mad. They go on the bike, kind of quite wicked. That kind of goes up and under. Oh, they're a bit of a wiggle. I'll just try and track to the hand. Let's go. They do fit under this fairing. They've got this kind of flat section under there, which does fit, and there's a little bit of a bar action going on up under there. It's kind of a two-handed job. There we go. Right, that bit goes in the back there onto the engine mount, and that goes through there onto the lower front mount, and that's kind of how they fit. I think they're pretty cool, pretty beef really, and being steel, as I've just checked with a magnet, there's loads of scope to weld more bits of steel in here and have loads of fun with them. Not cheap, 50 quid off eBay, but then when you look at the original old type that fit literally just across here, they're at £75 new from Jammer. So these must be a good 100 quid, 80 quid. So for 50, not a bad deal. Left this bare metal, started to pick up a bit of tin worm. Now, Mrs. Delboy has kind of kept on at me saying this looks a bit too scruffy, and I'm not so sure she ain't got a point. I'm just thinking it is probably going to get painted. I know I keep saying it, probably getting bored with it, so whiz on quick, but my view is that I love those old rubbed out, worn down, tired out bare metal old Harleys, but it's not a Harley, it's a Suzuki, and it just, maybe it just doesn't go, I don't know. But like I've said all along, all the rubbing down that I've done, all of it is for a purpose. If I'm going to spray it all one colour, it all needs to be done anyway, so it hasn't hurt. And it'll make it look, it'll get that rat thing going a bit better, I think. This, not so sure, living with it day to day. Don't know, like I said, not sure what everyone thinks, but personally I like the badges. They're going to get matted in and just rubbed out a little bit and kind of do all sorts with those, but it's cool, but don't know, might have to paint this. So that's the next thing, because I'm not so sure about the rust, especially on the fuel tank. Could lacquer it with a satin lacquer, but then it's truly contrived. Just matte black it, it might just be happening. Did order a seat cover, it turned up wrong colour, typical eBay, so just got to send that back and get another one sent. That'll be about 3 or 4 days, but tonight we're going to fit these. These turned up with a little fastener kit here. You've got a little bit of bracket. This clamps round frame rail up underneath the tank, so obviously 4 bolts. And typically this was advertised, this whole kit was advertised with a couple of bolts missing, and it's one of these little short things. These are what go through there, connect them. I got the nut, the bolts missing, and they put in this which goes through the back engine, that goes across top of the motor, that's your motor mount, and it is a bit longer. I've measured it, it's about that much longer, which is 2 times the thickness of this, which is all it needs to be, so that's cool. I got these other two, typical, I got these random god knows what, a bit of busted metal there, and a random bolt, so they'll go in the bolt box as spares. Now, to replace that, I had a rake through the old bolt box, found those, they're as close to the correct length as I can get. and they're good steel bolts. That's a zinc one, that is an old stainless one, so one of those two will do the job. That's cool. And the other ones that's missing is this front mount. You need a longer one of them, and it's not included, but that's cool, not a problem. That's a straightforward M6, I think, so going to whip that out, have a look right through the old bolt box. I'm definitely sure I will have a couple of those. Even if they're too long, I can cut them down, and they go into a captive thread the other side in the frame itself. So got to find a couple of those, rake those out, but the first job is to let the cat see the mouse. I've got to get the tank off so I can get underneath to bolt those clamps on under there. So first job, seat off, tank off, get stripping. Stick around, stay tuned, see what happens. Right, got the tank off, and as ever with these situations, the bars are kind of up there that they fit onto. You think you access them from the top, but you don't. All there is there is this. Where they're accessed from is if you have a Norton S without this fairing. You see these panels in the side, they're kind of accessed there. Oops. It's kind of that bolt there, that's the bar that we're bolting around, so the access is through this side here, not from the top, so didn't need to take the tank off anyway. So to tidy things up, just going to slap that back on. These are the little plasticky side panels that go in those front corners, so I'll just whip them off for a minute. Going to put the tank back on quick, connect all the tubes and the wires back up, get that back on because I don't need it off the bike, and then we can start getting crash bars on. Okay, it's a bit of a nightmare to get in. I've got the longer engine mount through, got some longer bolts going in, which annoyingly rake through the bolt box. I didn't have anything ½ inch longer as needed. The only option was 1 inch longer and some washers, but hey, it's a rat bike, it don't matter. So I'm just going to get the bases of all the fasteners started off and then jiggle them about till they fit exactly. The bracket up inside here is an absolute nightmare. Sorry, I got it now. You cannot see, there's the bracket, but you can't get to that bolt on the inside. Not without taking the engine out, and that's kind of not really the way I'm going to do it. So, getting up there, as you can see, is good fun. But for now, just get these in, get the first one offered up. Right, keep going. Okay, and here we are the next morning. If you can hear me over this monsoon, it's going to be a wet ride to work. Okay, last night it kind of turned out these are a bit of a nightmare to fit. You have the 3 mount points, one at the back going through the engine mount there, which on the other side there's, can't really see in the dark there, but there's a kind of block that falls out of place which you have to kind of hold with one hand and then go over the other side, push the bolt through with the other hand, and then come around here and screw the nut on with your third hand. In the meantime, the front one goes out of line, so you have to start again. So I was at this last night until it got dark and just sort of gave up filming. But they're on now. Getting these top bolts in, clamped with that sort of top and bottom clamp with the 2 bolts around this frame rail in the top there, that is a nightmare because you get it twisted one way then the other. In a nutshell, these things are an absolute nightmare to fit, but they're on now. It took about 2 more hours to get them all lined up. Strictly speaking, you just need 2 people. With 2 people you can fit them in 15 minutes just holding both sides, but when you're on your own it's a little bit difficult. So there they are, all fitted, and they are absolutely beef. You can pick the bike up with them. I mean, that bolt down there, that's your engine mount bolt. You got one still in the bike that holds through the frame in the normal way, but then you got this extra one, goes right through, bolts to the mount plate both sides, so it's mounted to the engine mounts. And as I've said before, this is quite interesting, when you get these bungs that are bolted onto, you just get a crash bung that's just clamped round the frame rail. If the crash bung gets a punch on the end as it slides down the road, or takes an impact, it takes an impact through the frame, whereas this, any impact on these bars, first of all they are going to crush and bend, and that will diffuse the energy and reduce it going through to the bike, kind of like an airbag or a crumple zone in some way. And secondly, any energy that does go to the bike is going to an engine mount, which means that the other side of this engine mount is the engine, and that's a solid lump of metal, and that won't bend. So these are correct, and I absolutely love the look of them. They kind of got this big sticky out frame, and for the purposes of a rat bike and looking big and industrial, I think they're awesome. Fantastic. I've never seen them before. They look absolutely awesome, and I love them to bits. They look great from behind the bike. They give it a kind of muscle look. They're kind of big and huge. The left one comes out just about ½ an inch more than the right, but then the left hand side of the engine sticks out more, so they are truly fitted to the bike. They are truly tailored to a Bandit by Jammer. There you go. They're steel, and the tubing they're made from is kind of 3-4 mil. It's really thick steel tubing, and they're powder coated, so they are going to be fantastic for future kind of rattage things, odds and ends, you know, bolt things on them, weld bits on them. Yeehaw, gonna have loads of fun with those. So there we are, 50 quid, pair of crash bars, all fitted. Now I've got to get out in this and ride to work. Oh well, gonna get wet, better get the proofs on. Okay, that's been Delboy's Garage, kicking it on a nickel. Thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Ride safe.